should be really good field position for this Steelers team.
Jordan Stout is standing at his own goal line. Ott snaps it. And it's blocked! Pittsburgh blocks it! The ball goes through the back of the end zone.
Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. If you like what we do, make sure you're subscribed now. And if you can, please support the show for just $4 or $7 a month at patreon.com/5SMU. Well, after a tumultuous week in Steelerland, it's just what the doctor ordered. A good old-fashioned slobber knocker with the Baltimore Ravens. The names may change, but the games, they stay the same. Need I say more? Start this one with a little fake and pull for the most dynamic quarterback in the league, and Action Jackson is off to the races before the starter pistol has even stopped smoking. Uh-oh. First and 10 though, and Zay Flowers might be slippery in his routes, but apparently so are his hands, and this one slides right through his paws like he just finished a large movie theater popcorn. A pair more incompletions intended for Andrews and Flowers, and as is tradition in this game, the offense trots off the field unsuccessful. Out comes the somewhat limpy Kenny P, who is shockingly playing this week after what looked to be a bad injury against Houston, but like usual, Canada's crew plays scared deep in their own end, and they find themselves in a 3rd and 6. Luckily with the Muthman out, they finally remember that they employ Bowser Jr., aka Connor Hayward, who really needs to get back to being involved in this offense for a nice catch and run first. But sadly on 3rd and 4, Kenny tries to go back shoulder, but there are no shoulders to be found, and the Steelers offense heads back to the bench. Get it? Okay, maybe not my best. 2nd and 8, Jackson gets a little time in the pocket and he finds a slot in the zone to connect with Nelson Aguilar across midfield, putting the Ravens on the move for the 2nd time in as many possessions. Way too much time lets Jackson put together his famous icebox cake before he slings it again to Aguilar for another first. 2nd and 4, and why not hand it to Gus the Bus, who strolls for an easy first deep inside the business zone. Ravens threatening as I start to wonder if 7-0 is an insurmountable lead for this Steelers offense. 2023 Defensive Player of the Year by a lot, TJ Watt jumps and swats a sidearm duck out of the air on first, but on 2nd, it's a handoff to the shifty Justice Hill, who skates by an over-pursuing Holcomb and trollops right into the Acrisure end zone for an easy score. Matt Canada is already wondering how on earth he's gonna get back into this game. Ravens 7, Steelers nothing. Back over to Kenny P, and it's more of the same for the typically putrid Steelers offense. KP grabs a few on the ground, but can find nobody on 3rd, and it's already back over to Baltimore with a chance to build momentum. Chance of fire Canada rain down at a thunderous volume. Canada has reached WWE heel levels of hate in this fan base, and I'd feel bad for him if I wasn't part of the chants from my own couch. Boy, I sure hope Quan Alexander doesn't need those ankles, because Justice Hill shatters his on a nifty little spin move, followed by a typical run up the middle for Action Jackson, and the Ravens are across midfield again. This game is threatening to get out of control if the boys in black can't put the brakes on. Again, it's a month and a half to throw for Lamar, who finds the always sticky-handed Mark Andrews, who, like many a receiver before him this season, is blowing by the once great Patrick Peterson as we head into the 2nd quarter. 2nd and 8, Jackson finds the minimally impactful Odell Beckham, whose career descent continues. I mean, it doesn't get much lower than having to play receiver for the Ravens, does it? End around to Flowers goes nowhere, shout out to the Steelers' run D, which finally seems to have settled down a bit, and on 2nd it's an uncatchable quacker from Lamar to Andrews that lands harmlessly on the turf. But on 3rd he puts it right on the money, but luckily, as I said, the Ravens receivers are quite literally always terrible, and Rashad Bateman drops a piece of cake touchdown that clearly changes the trajectory of this game. The always-on Tucker cashes in the easy points, but this drive feels like a failure for the Ravens, who took their eyes off the road. Back to the Steelers offense, and look, you can tell me whatever you want about Kenny Pickett, but you just can't tell me the guy can't physically play in this league. This is a great back shoulder throw with awesome placement to his number 1 man, Georgie Porgy, and finally the Steelers are out of neutral. And Warren converts on 2nd, and on 3rd and 6, I want you to watch Connor Hayward in the middle of the field here. This is what I'm always talking about when I say the dude is just a good football player. He finds the open space across the sticks and makes himself an easy target for the scrambling Pickett, who, like usual, makes an accurate throw on the move. Nice play on both ends by the young Steelers. No better time to take a shot than 1st and 10 around midfield, and take a shot they do, with Pickett chucking deep to Pickens, but sadly he overthrows it. Again, please continue to tell me Kenny has no arm strength. And on 3rd, it's a great concealed blitz by former Steeler Arthur Mollett, who sacks Pickett to derail this drive and knock him out of even considerable field goal range. Can't argue, great play by Mollett. That had to feel good. Jackson gets him going again with a toss to Mark Andrews, who just catches everything, and on the next play it's a nice stuff by Big E, and I have to say, for the first time in a long time, I actually think the Steelers middle linebackers had a great game today. Can you ever remember me saying that? Great screen call by the Ravens catches the Steelers off guard, but Ogunjobi! It's Leisure Suit Larry with a ferocious punch out from behind that rattles the stadium and shakes the ball loose. Good guys fall on it, and this game is officially changed. And who says the Steelers can't throw down the middle? Absolute bullet by Large Kenjamin to his man Curious George for the first, and the Steelers are threatening? You hear that? That's the Canadian bacon sizzling on the griddle. Matty C dials up a classic end-around toss to Big George, who follows genuinely nice blocking for another first, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think the Steelers are shifting into second gear? But just when I say that, the engine sputters and Kenny throws it away on 3rd, bringing out the Boz man, who you already know is... Steelers on the board, Baltimore 10, Pittsburgh 3. Lamar gets him going as always with a toss to his favorite tight end, but a couple plays later he's dragged down on the option by the mighty mullet himself, Mr. Cole Holcomb, to put the Ravens in a must-stop 3rd and long. Stop him? Why? Mark Andrews literally runs the same routes all day, every day, but credit to him, he's always somehow running past faster defenders, and you can tell he's still the go-to guy for Jackson. Frustrating, but still time for the Steelers to stop him. This is your right tackle. Now this is your right tackle trying to block Trent Jordan Watt. TJ smashes this uncooked egg of an offensive lineman with a purely disrespectful speed move, and the Ravens find themselves way behind the 8 ball. On the list of down and distances you absolutely must stop, I'd say 3rd and 18 is pretty damn high up there, wouldn't you? The ever-frustrating Steelers D that is occasionally great and occasionally terrible lets Jackson escape and uncork his best pass of the day to rookie Flowers, and it's an absolutely demoralizing first down for the Ravens. Just a great pass by Jackson that I can't even run my mouth on. Baltimore is knocking on the door as the half ticks down. Luckily at this stage of his career, OBJ couldn't get separation if he had a restraining order, and on 3rd and 10 it's a toss for 8, and the Ravens for some reason decide, nah, we don't need the points, and run an ugly play. Peep Cole Holcomb rushing in on the QB spy, and it falls harmlessly incomplete, leaving this a 7-point game as we head into the half. Just a monumental miscue for Harbaugh and the Birds here, if you ask me. The Steelers' offense has been struggling so badly of late that I don't know how you turn down the chance to make this a 10-point game. And despite statistically dominating the half, the Ravens take a measly 1-score lead into the break. Very questionable, John. Hey, you, I know you like the show, so let me ask you, do you like it enough to drop $4 a month? What about 7? Head over to patreon.com/5SMU and become a member today. You get a cool welcome gift and access to our very fun Discord server where you can talk to me and the rest of our patrons anytime. Do it now! Patreon.com/5SMU. Now roll the game. Another week, another embarrassing halftime graphic for the woeful Steelers, who continue to be perpetually outpaced on the offensive side of the ball week after week. More like Canna don't, am I right? Nice run by the Naj man on first finally gets the Steelers ahead of the down and distance, but as usual they wasted on a run up the gut that goes absolutely nowhere, and it's already back over to the Ravens' simmering offense. 4-man rush gives Jackson an eternity to hunt and peck, and even he can make a good throw when a guy is this open. Nice move by Flowers throws Holcomb to the side, but doesn't net anymore. Either way, the Blackbirds are back to midfield. Lamar looks deep, but maybe he needs glasses because if he saw that it was Rashad Bateman, I don't think he would have thrown it. Another really weak stab at a catchable ball for Rashad, who, to my eye, just doesn't seem to be a very good receiver. What else is new? I'll never forget the dude in my comments who told me he was a more impactful draft pick than Najee. Really? Can you say Keanu? Best play as a Steeler so far for Mr. Neal, who combines with his associate Mr. Wap for an awesome chase down of Action Jackson on 3rd and gotta have it, and it's back to the boys in black with a chance to close the gap. Another one to Connor, please keep using this kid. Get this man off my f***ing screen. Look at the rookie Broderick Jones leading the way for the Naj man. Rook looking good so far. Ain't no way to see what you got till you see it. Peace and love, Dan Moore, but you're gonna have to move to that swing tackle, big dog. Kenny does his patented spin-a-rooney for one of the only times today, thankfully, and finds Allen Robinson, who's basically a tight end in this offense, setting up a manageable 3rd and 6. And where do you go on third? Well, of course, to the best receiving back the Steelers have had since that dude in the number 26 jersey. It's Jaylen Warren, converting per usual. And the Steelers are moving and shaking. Toss it to the same dirty 30 for a handful on first, something the Steelers offense did much better today in general, but on second, the pressure gets home again, and Canada's crew, despite improving, still comes up fruitless. Now, I'm honestly not trying to sound like I'm just hating on the Ravens receivers. Oh wait, yes I am. But this is almost a nice catch by Aguilar, but to me, should absolutely have been ruled incomplete. This thing is moving the whole time and it comes out as he goes to the ground. No one knows what a catch is anymore, but to me, this ain't one. Regardless, it stands and Baltimore gets going with a chunk. Another deep throw and yet another hilarious attempt at a catch by a Ravens receiver. I'll give it to Lamar, you can't place this thing any better than this, and Aguilar looks like he's trying to make a basketball hoop with his arms. Just another pathetic drop from this Ravens receiving core, which is apparently cursed to never improve. 3rd and 6, and yet again it's a Steelers inside backer making a play, this time Quan Alexander, who I thought had his best game as a Steeler today. There was a ton of room for Jackson if he doesn't make this tackle, but he does, and you can see the frustration boiling over for number 8 in white. Pair of nice runs for the Naj man gets him a first. Dare I say this run game is getting slightly better? And on a 1st and 10, Kenny gets some nice protection and dons his big yellow hat as he finds his man Curious George, who is the best player on the field today. Filed under things you love to f***ing see. Big Ken dots him up with a perfectly timed back shoulder to that same number 14, and the Steelers head into the 4th and final stanza with every single ounce of momentum in this game. And just as I say that, it's a run for nothing followed by an unforgivable sack to knock him out of field goal range, and it's sadly time to head back out on D. Just nothing going right for Baltimore, who commits an obvious hold to knock themselves back, followed by yet another pair of great plays by Steelers backers, first Holcomb, and then the Quan and only Mr. Alexander, and Lamar's patience is officially on life support. 3rd and forever, and Cole Holcomb sings "I'm sorry, Miss Jackson" as he drags Lamar down for the series-ending slam. You see though, the thing about the Ravens is they always have great special teams, and holy shit, it's that man Miles Killebrew flying through for the earth-shattering blocked punt. Are you absolutely kidding me? Boy, oh boy, could this not have come at a better time. While obviously the momentum had swung over to the Steelers side for the last quarter and a half, the 7-point deficit meant a couple scores would be needed to steal victory. And this blocked punt through the end zone was just what they needed to tip the numbers in their favor. While a touchdown would have been nice, I'll always take my chances with the 2 and possession. Underrated play that will be forgotten with what happened, but nice return on the free kick here by Gunner gets him out near midfield. I get it, we hate Gunner, but still, nice return. Steelers promptly face a 3rd and 8, and where do you go when you gotta have it? Of course to the second coming of Marshall Faulk, Mr. Jaylen Warren, who I cannot stress enough is truthfully becoming one of the elite pass-catching backs in this league. Matt Canada storms the stage and says, "Keep my name out your mouth," as he runs a nifty little handoff to that same number 30 who jumps over the moon on his way to yet another first down.
He's heating up.
The man cannot be stopped. Jaylen Warren bursts through the once proud Ravens for another gash, and the Steelers are suddenly donning their finest black and gold suits as they enter
The business zone.
If there's one thing 8 and 14 have to still work on, it's these. They just haven't been able to master the end zone jump balls, and it's really the last thing in their repertoire they need to become an elite pair, in my humble opinion. Pickett misses a coming open Calvin Austin down low here and fires instead on incomplete up top, but hey, a touchdown would be too easy, wouldn't it? This is Steelers Ravens, we gotta do this the hard way. Steelers trot out the trusty Boz, and like usual, Pittsburgh closes the gap to 2.
Almost oops.
Zay Flowers gets free deep and Lamar puts it on him, but the rookie pulls his best Chase Claypool impression and falls flat on his ass and can't make the catch. Throw over the middle to Beckham nets a few, but another great stuff this time by Big E, Landon Roberts, forces another 4th and another punt from the suddenly flightless Ravens. Uh-oh, not another punt on 5-star. This can't be good, Steve. And no, it's most certainly not. Everyone's favorite special teamer, Gunnar Olszewski, coughs the rock up on an all-important punt, and the Ravens recover deep in Steelers territory for what looks to be the kill shot. I do have to give a shout out to just called up tight end Rodney Williams, who stays with the play and makes the tackle here. Had this gone for a scoop and score, this game is over right here and right now. It takes a village. Steelers again stuff the run on first and sniff out that tricky little Andrews screen we've seen 100 times on second. And that sets up our
5-star.
Play of the game.
Shotgun, Jackson, up high, intercepted! Picked off by Joey Porter Jr. The rookie comes away with it.
They shot his dad in Denver. It's Peasy Jr. with his first game-changing play in the black and gold, and of course it's against the hated Baltimore Ravens. While I'll give the kiddo credit for making the play, what the actual is Jackson doing on this throw? Just an unforgivable toss by an experienced quarterback who clearly predetermined where he was going before the snap. And just like that, the momentum is back where it belongs, with the black and gold. Okay, Killer Ken, this is it. Late fourth, 80 yards to go. Winning time. Already in a 3rd and 9, Pickett stands in the collapsing pocket and fires complete to AR-11 for the drive starter, and call me crazy, but I just got a feeling this kid's gonna do it again. Little check down to Jay grabs a few, setting up a gotta have it 3rd and medium, and would you look at the balls on this kid? Instead of going short or trying to scramble, large Kenjamin puts his blind faith in his man George Pickens, who snags the perfect back shoulder throw with absolutely zero separation to grab a first and pull him within the Boz's range. Time ticking under 2 now, the Steelers get the clock moving with a carry for Warren, setting up a 2nd and 9, and the ultra rare 2nd.
5-star.
Play of the game.
We're down to 1:23 to go on a 2nd and 9. Pickett lines up a deep ball, separation, touchdown, George Pickens!
Quoth the Raven Killer Kenny, nevermore. For the 2nd time in as many games against the fearsome Baltimore Ravens, young Kenneth Shane, first of his name, wraps the Ravens in plastic and drops the dagger into their collective chests with a flawless dime dropped in the basket for George Pickens, who blows by, of all people, Marlon Humphrey for the touchdown and lead. What an incredible pitch and catch for this young quarterback. Just felt like so much more than a touchdown to me. Simply incredible. Steelers go for 2, not really sure what difference it makes, miss it anyway, peep Canada's weird-ass non-reaction to the touchdown, and it's back to the Ravens for the first time facing a deficit today. Of course they start with a chunk play because fuck me, right? But on the very next play, it's Alexander the Great screaming around the edge for the strip sack that bounces as the football gods intended, directly to the best defensive player in the universe, Trent Jordan Watt, who can't quite take it home. Still, you can grab the hammer and nails because it's time to shut the coffin. A few knees ought to do it, and are you kidding me? An illegal formation penalty keeps this game alive even longer because after all, it's Steelers and Ravens, isn't it? God damn it. Boz is as usual. And the Steelers lead by a touchdown with under a minute to go. Fear not though, Steelers Nation, because try as he might, Jackson cannot get anything done, and they find themselves in a fateful 4th and 7 that ends, just like everyone would expect, with a sack by the best edge player in the universe, Trent Jordan Watt, who officially, finally, slams the door shut. And say it with me, your first place Pittsburgh Steelers are 3 and 2. Well, it's been ugly. It's been downright bad at times, but this young Steelers team finds themselves headed into the bye in first place with a 2-0 record in the division and an arrow that again looks to be pointed up. While you have to concede some questionable decisions, namely the 4th down at the end of the first half and the Lamar Jackson interception late, certainly helped the Ravens handicap themselves, it's undeniable that the Steelers stayed the course in a game that could have easily gotten away from them. They put the brakes on D, and the offense, when necessary, got the job done, culminating in the absolutely excellent game-winning touchdown pass by the now deemed Raven killer, Kenny Pickett, who in just 2 games has beaten the Ravens more times than the former MVP Lamar Jackson has beaten the Steelers in his career. While the discussion in much of our fan base this week has been about the beleaguered Matt Canada, and justifiably so, I've personally spent a lot of time ruminating on the young career of number 8, and while he's been difficult to evaluate so far, games like this continue to illustrate that he has whatever that thing is you need in the big moments. He might not be perfect, and he's certainly still learning and getting better, but you can't teach it. And just like the quarterback before him, Kenny Pickett possesses it. And for me, that's a pretty damn good start, isn't it? Here we go. And if you're still here, make sure you head over to patreon.com/5SMU to support the show. Costs just a couple bucks a month and really helps us out. Do it now and get in the Discord server before our next game.